Yep.
Welcome to the Man of the House Radio Show here at HamiltonRadio.net, channel HR2. I'm your host, Deacon Clarence Haynes. It's December the 3rd, 2018, our last broadcast of this year. Deacon Lee Webb is hosting also. Dick, how you doing?
Very well, sir. Very well.
All right, good. So it's been a while since we've been on the air here. We've been taking some time off to do some things, and once again, we want you to open up the show by with a prayer and give us our blessings.
Heavenly Father, we come before you with thanksgiving in our hearts. Thanking you, Heavenly Father, for bringing us this far as you have. And Lord God, we're asking you to create in us clean hearts and renew a right spirit within us. And Lord God, we're asking you to bless all our listeners. And Lord God, may this program be of some assistance in some way to someone. For Lord God, we know that all things work together for good for those who love you and for those who are the called according to your purpose. And Lord God, we're just asking you to help us and lead us. These and other blessings I ask in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right, listeners, we here at Hamilton Radio, we are now a reseller for Walmart, Best Buy, System Mechanics, Vegas Movies, Studio Editor, and Magnet Music Maker. You can help support Hamilton Radio by making your purchases here on HamiltonRadio.net. When you get ready to purchase that new camera for your vacation or need home essentials items like computers, video games, just click on the link on the top of the page on HamiltonRadio.net. Just shop and purchase like you would normally. Your purchase will help support Hamilton Radio to continue to bring your great music and talk shows. Please tell your families and friends and coworkers. Hamilton Radio can now have businesses ads on your Facebook live during the live shows. Go to HamiltonRadio.net and seek more information. So remember, before you shop, think HamiltonRadio.net and make your purchases here on the website by clicking on the support affiliated companies ad links on the top of the page of HamiltonRadio.net and also on our Facebook Live ads. Your support is very appreciated, and everyone here at Hamilton Radio thanks you. All right, as our opening mono song says, when we're going to make a change. It's 2018. This year is already over. If you have not made a change, or when are you going to do it? Those of you who have been watching the skies and checking on Planet X and Nibiru and all the good things that are going on, give us a call here at Hamilton Radio and let us know what you think about what's going on here. And those of you who are going through any kind of changes, our men, we're here at Hamilton Radio at Man of the House Radio Show. We talk about the things that we need to know as men, so we can be rightfully to dictate and do the things that we have to do for our families. And so, we started our last session. We were talking about biblical finance and how to help our people and our young men to learn about finance. And we had some people come on and talk about Minister Blackshear and Minister Dennis. They came and they talked about the things. And I've done some things, and for those of you who have no idea about the investing in stocks and things like that, there's a book that's by Dr. Boyce Watkins, A Basic Guide to Building Your Family Economic Empire by, Dr. Boyce Watkins. And this book is called The $5 a Day Stock Market investing plan. You know, a lot of us, we don't think about stocks. We think that you have to have a whole lot of money to invest in stocks, and you think going to work every day is going to give you what you need for retirement. And you have to look at what's going on in the world today. Everything is changing. Everything is costing more. Uh, we are in a total man-controlled environment now, robots and uh, I, uh, artificial intelligence. You know what I mean? Everything is things are making decisions for you. You get on your computer and you type in a word, and the computer thinks for you. It gives you all these other things that this might you might want to talk about these things. But we have to start taking control of what's going on. If you want something different, you have to do something different. And these are the things that it's time out for complaining. It's time out for having other people be the scapegoat for why you don't have what you want. And I know Deke, you've seen a lot working in a prison system, and I know people coming back with the same story of why they back or what happened. And, you have all these stories, but life is too short, and we want to be able to bring information to our listening audience and not just talk about people, but programs that can make a difference in our lives by doing. We've already found out who's at fault. Now we have to find out how we're going to rebuild and how we're going to make things right in our lives. And it's up to us. We have all the means that we need. We have the spiritual. We have spiritual guides. We have churches that are open, Bible believing churches that are available to us, and we have to knock at the door and open and go in them. We can't keep blaming people for the things that go on in our lives. I've always told either you're part of a problem or part of the solution. So we have to look at ourselves and say, look in the mirror. What Michael Jackson said, the man in the mirror. We have to look in that mirror and find out who we are, and what we are, and whom's we are. Once you know that, if you're a child of God, then you know you're supposed to look like a child of God. You're supposed to act like a child of God. What do you say, D?
Indeed, indeed.
Okay, yes, sir. So those are the things that we had on marriage matters. We had a group that is trying to, or they're not trying, they're doing things to help the families, couples, and matter of fact, they have a book out, and I'm looking for. I guess they didn't send it, so I'm looking for the title of the book. The book will be out December the 12th, and I'll get that information back to you guys as soon as I find out what it is. It's going to be on Amazon, and I'm glad to say that we here at the Man in the House Radio Show, we were able to have them on our show and bring the group on and talk about the things that they're doing. And Elder George, Charlene George, is our birthday today, and Deacon Michael George, he's out with his wife, and we thank him for his support in that. And Ty and Monica Reed, they were here with us, and we give them, all the kudos for passing on that information to the next generation. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're into the going into the new year, and we want to be able to bring you some new things next year. About things that we are doing, not about the complaints or the same thing that everybody else is talking about. We want to bring you the updates on the Leander Project. We want you to log on to the Leander Project and take a look. We need your support. We need your help. We talk about nobody's doing things for our youth, and we complain about what happens to our young people who find themselves in trouble. But here's an organization that's willing to be intervene and step in the middle so that our young people do not receive a criminal record, and they also will be able to have a man in their life to show them the positive things that they need to do in their lives, and be able to make that happen in their lives. And As you know, anything that's worthwhile, you're gonna have opposition, and you're gonna have uh, Satan is coming in and trying to uh, throw stumbling blocks in the way of this project being completed. And we as a people, we have not because we ask not. And you've asked for this, for somebody to step in, and we've stepped in, and we need your help. So we look at the Lee Ander Project, and you can find that information and go to the website and take a look at what's going on, and send your contributions in to try and make this happen. We take care of everybody else's problems. You know, we sending money all over the world. We have a real disaster right here in the state of New Jersey, Mercer County, Trenton, New Jersey. Our young people are killing each other. Our young people are coming out of school illiterate. They don't have skills. The jobs aren't here. We as a community, we have to start supporting each other and uh, giving work to the second chance. You know, we call it second chance. Everybody deserves a chance. You know, I have a problem with the labeling of felons. You know, young men or females that come out of jail and they serve their time, but yet still you still put a label on them where they can't find work. So that doesn't make any sense. You want a person to be better, but yet still you prevent them from being better by creating a label where they almost have to go back and do what they were sent to jail for. And we were supposed to have a guest tonight who was going to. A group of guys were supposed to get here tonight, and maybe they'll make it. But we wanted to bring some people on to bring the people who need to be at the table, the people who are directly affected. You know, if you look at any roadmap or any organization who are trying to help, they have the wrong people at the table. The people who are going through what they're going through should be the ones at the table making the decisions and saying, hey, this is what we need. And the decision maker should make that happen or implement that. But in order for you to get the real truth about what's going on for our young men or our felons and who are going through their personal lives and trying to get their lives back, we have to be extremely careful when we design programs that they are included and that information is being used from them. So, all right, listeners, you know, we the lines are open, and give us a call here at Hamilton Radio, um, or log on to the chat room and just give us a call and let us know what you think about this. Once again, this is our last show for 2018. 2017. Sorry. Hey, I'm already through there. I'm already through. Yes, yes. And I don't think the first Sunday in December we would not be on. That's New Year's Day. So we won't be back on the air till February, the first Sunday in February. So they give you time to do some thinking and make some changes and try to figure out what is it that you want to do. If you want to continue in the same position that you are now, you know, then it's, you know, that's your choice. Life is always about choices. And you have to, like I said, man in the mirror. We as men have to look in the mirror and say, okay, where I'm at. And even in your relationship, you have to look at, you know, am I either you're part of the problem or part of the solution? Am I causing this? And we have to look at things why I don't have. And one of the things is definitely about finances and be able to bring those things to the forefront, you know. And one of the things that this book talks about is why the stock market, how the stock market works in your favor, you know, shifting from poverty to a wealthy mindset. The next step, now what? You know, we have to do these things and we have to start thinking outside of the box and do some things that we need to know, you know, and, you know, one of the things that uh, there in his book called the $5 a day stock market investing plan, it talks about, and I'm going to just read from The first opening in chapter 1, it says, "There's a strange idea that somehow the stock market is only for others, people or others who work for corporations who invest on their behalf. Starting now, we need to stop giving credence to these ideas. The truth of they hurt us and our ability to produce generational wealth." And several shows ago, we talked about the generational curses and why we're not in the head of the game and why we have each generation starts from ground zero. Those of us who have those creative minds who try to create, there's always that negativity of the Willie Lynch syndrome, which always pulls us down, or that crab mentality where people try to pull you down so you can't really make it without going through jumping through hurdles that you shouldn't have to go through. And 2018 is a year of implementing the things that we talked about in 2017. We are once again the Nehemiah Retreat Group. We're having a retreat April 13th through the 15th at the Poconos at Spruce Lake, and that is titled Raising the Next Generation. We're looking for those who have businesses, who have plans, and we want to talk about. We're starting a financial club, an investing club. We're going to be investing in bitcoins and crypto coins and all these things that are going on, and investing in technology and new companies that are starting up at the ground. We're going to be getting in on the ground level, and instead of waiting for some pyramid scheme or some multi-level marketing idea that we're trying to get invested in, and we're working on that now as a group. So we're going to be hearing more about that. We're putting that together right now, where we're going to be able to invest in these programs. And like I said, 2018 is a year of doing. We're also looking to purchase us a retreat spot of our own where we can have retreats every month, every week, every day, and we need to be able to bring our youth into an environment where everything is totally different. They have to see more than what they see right now. And we're also planning a trip to Israel. We're working on that right now to take those who would like to go back to Israel and go to Israel. And we're working on that right now to see what's going on and how things are over there. And we're going to space it out. So this time, at the end of 2018, going in 2019, we'll be talking about what day we're going to Israel, and we'll be able to give you a report on that. But we're going to be doing some things that most Christians should see. We'll be doing baptisms in the Jordan River. Those who are married, we can have your wedding vows renewed at the First Church of Canaan. We're going to go down to Masada. We're going to go down to the Dead Sea and float in the Dead Sea. There's some things that you need to go see. And, we're going to go to Christ's tomb. We're going to go to Old City, Jerusalem, show you go to the wall, to the the Western Wall, they call it now, or the Wailing Wall. And there are some things that, as Christians, we talk about and we say we believe in our faith, but yet still, how strong is your faith when it comes to going back to where your faith started, to be able to actually say that what we read about when we talk about Galilee, and we talk about Masada, and we talk about Tiberias, and Jerusalem, and all the cities that you read in the Bible, when you can go and walk in those places and see that, that's an awesome experience, or in your lifetime, you can say, "Hey, I did that," and these are the things that we care about. So, Dave, what you got? What's on your mind today?
Well, I was just listening. We want to get this trip started.
Mm-hmm.
Start working on it.
Oh yeah, it's ready to go, man. We have to get it together, and Uh, we want to. Well, dealing with first and foremost is getting your passport in order, getting your papers together. Dealing with some things. And one of the things that I highly suggest with people is when you do trips outside of the United States, there's an insurance policy that you can have is for you can cancel your trip for any reason within a specified time. So what happens is that we know that we can make decisions all we want, but only God knows. So we say, if God be willing, we want to go on this trip. But once you put your money down, you're dealing with man. So man gives you an option to buy an insurance policy that can help you if things should change down the road. So we're going to be working on that and putting that together, and that's what I'm doing now, and I'll be working on that in January because I want to be able to go at least March 2018 when instead of doing a retreat, we'll be doing in April of 2019 when that's right in the beginning. In Israel, it's only two seasons, winter and summer, so we want to go right when the summer starts before it gets too hot over there. Because there's a lot of desert, and it's hot, man, so we want to be able to do those things, and we want to be able to give people plenty of time to get their money together and to commit. That's what you have to do is to make a commitment to do those things. You want something different, uh, you have to do something different. So that's what we're going to be doing with that, and I'll be um, I'll be working on that. Like I said, in January, I'm going to contact the people and get the price, and I get everything together, the airfare, the price, and once again, you want to make sure your passport is up to date. You have all your papers, and Israel is one of the countries you don't need any special vaccines or any shots you have to go take as of that I've known, but I'll have all that information ready for the people to do who really want to go, and we're going to be doing that. And then once again, we want to be we want to open up the Leander Project, 864 Belgrade Avenue. We want that building up. We're praying. We're asking for anyone that can help us, with the monetary gifts to help us can make this project work, to help us get our CO and to do something for these children other than looking at them and talking about them. When we as elders have created this generation, we've allowed our children to go unchecked for so long. The family has been destroyed. We have allowed the families to be destroyed. And I'm talking to the men who are uncles and cousins and brothers. If you have a niece who has a son, don't let that son be raised up by his mother without you putting some kind of manpower into helping that young man become a man. He can only become a man. Women are doing, they shouldn't have to do double duty. And we have so many problems with our young men who have not seen a man in their life or a father in their life. And you wonder why they don't want to come in our churches when, how you going to deal with God who we call our Father when they haven't even known their earthly father. So how are they going to deal with a father that they cannot see? And we have to understand that we've allowed so many things to go unchecked, and we've allowed them to lean to their own understanding, or we have allowed somebody else to put something in their heads. And these are things that we have to work on. We have to rein our kids back into the village. And what happens is that in each neighborhood, we have everything that we need. We have electricians, we have plumbers, we have carpenters, we have all these people who can do the work, but yet still we go out and finance all this stuff and give money to everybody outside our communities, and we wonder why our communities don't survive. And you look at here on Hamilton Radio, you have an opportunity, you have at your disposal, you have for your advertisement, for all the things that you need. You have these resources, and yet still we don't use them. We'll go outside the box and do other things, and then we're always talking about why we don't have when we have, but we don't use it. And that's what the song, our title is, When We're Gonna Wake Up. You know, for a whole year, we sent out a message. We talk about uh, generational curses. We talked about passing on those negative iniquities to our children, and then we expect our children to understand what's going on. And now here it is Christmas time, and we still talking about Santa Claus and all this kind of nonsense to our kids. And we live in a day and time, man, where every dime and every nickel it counts. People have to eat. Let it snow and see what happens. And if your life depends on your paycheck, and let it snow and a snowstorm is coming, they'll go to the store and buy up all the food. You got a check, but you got a money, but you can't buy no food because you haven't got paid yet. And most people don't have a disaster prepared kit. You look at New Orleans, you look at Katrina, you look at all these places, Sandy Hook. You look at all these disasters that have been going on. And I don't know how many of you have felt the earthquake the other day, you know, on Delaware, and it registered in New Jersey, and uh, people in my neighborhood was asking what was going on. They heard it, they felt it, and 2 days later we had another earthquake up in northern Jersey. So we're looking at the days and times. We're living in the last days and times. And you look at, for those of you who don't look up at the sky, look up at the sky and see what's going on in the sky. You see all the spraying of the chemtrails and all the stuff that they're spraying up in the sky, and you have to figure out what's going on. I mean, you have to find out why are they doing what they're doing, and if you listen to local news, you're not going to find it there. You're not going to find what you need to know. And why is the government building all these underground cities and bunkers and all this type of things? What's happening, world? Does anybody know? Give us a call here at HamiltonRadio.net, channel HR2. All right, Deke, what's happening, man?
I'm listening because a lot of this information we should be aware of.
Well, for the lack of knowledge, our people are perishing, and what they're doing is they're doing that three-card Molly thing on us. They got us looking to the left, and everything is going on the right. And we're talking about even I had some conversations with several ministers, and I said, well, why are we still teaching things about the past when Christianity is right here in this generation? And what is going on? And that's why our youth cannot see what we're talking about, because we're still referring back to the past. We're talking about things that happened in the past, Christ 2,000 years ago, when the book of Revelation talked about these days and times. Because we're in those times now, and we need to know what's going on, and not let other people tell us. If we are going to live by faith, we should be taught what that faith is.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because there's so much that even today's Christians, shall we say, we call them Christians, but are they really Christians?
Right.
Because see, if you're really a Christian, you got to be living in that time.
In that time, there you go.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and believe it or not, the Bible, it's a roadmap. It's basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Amen to that.
And you can say the Bible is something like a credit card too.
Mm-hmm.
Because you wonder why things going wrong for you, why God don't hear you. Hey, well, why don't he hear you? Is it because you're not calling them?
I'm not calling them, right.
Or are you still living in centuries past?
Right.
When you should be living in today's time.
Right. Another thing too, I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that I find people don't understand do you know God's voice? So every voice that speaks to you is not of God. So you got your voice, you got the devil's voice, then you have God's voice. Do you know which one of the voices is talking? You know, our mind can tell us things and tell us it's from God, but it don't have to be from God. That's not God talking to you.
Okay, this is absolutely true because the Holy Bible, right? You take the Bible for an example. How many dispensations do you have in that Bible?
There you go. Look it up. Yeah.
And if you're living in the dispensation of Moses,
Mm-hmm.
you something's wrong with you
Exactly. Well, you know,
because like dispensation of Moses, okay,
Mhm.
that was accurate then and it was appropriate then.
Right.
But then see, okay, Moses brought the Ten Commandments, okay, but then when Jesus came,
Well,
something else came along.
that's right. That's right. The new covenant came.
Right, the new covenant came.
Right.
And so now, if you're living in the new covenant now, and you still dwelling on the old, there's your problem right there.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. We still drinking milk instead of flesh. We're not the word. We're still taking baby food when we should be teaching others. We should be passing on that information, and we should be Christ-like.
And not only that, but see now that goes back to the ministers of today too.
Mm-hmm.
How many ministers today in their churches is still teaching the people living in the old era?
Right. Well, that's through seminary school. That's how they're taught. But you have to be able to grow, and we have to be able to do things that are relevant. It's just like if you have, and I'm glad you said, the Bible is the basic instruction before leaving Earth. So now, if you have a GPS system and you're trying to leave Earth, and it still have you going around in the wilderness for 40 years, you'll never leave Earth. You'll die, and that's what most of us are doing. We're dying and never having reached the point where we really understand or we know God. And in the title, we can call ourselves Christians, but that's just like anything else. You can name anything else, but if you're not living according to God's will, then it doesn't make any difference because when he talks about my people, he's saying his people. So if you're not his people of his people, he said, my sheep know my name. They know my voice, and we know all those things. But so a lot of people try to read themselves into the Bible. But if the Bible is not for you to read yourself into it. The Bible is for you to follow what the Scripture says.
Right, and another thing too, I'd just like to add this onto it. In 2 Timothy, you'll see where it says, "Study to show thyself
Yes, sir.
approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed,
Yes, sir.
rightly
Dividing
the word of truth."
Right.
That word rightly, that means something. If it says rightly dividing the truth, that means you can wrongly divide the word of truth. Okay?
Right.
And see, this is what's happening now. And it didn't just start happening, it's been going on.
It's been that way because what happens is man is basically lazy. We want somebody else to do it for us. When God is saying to us that he's holding us accountable. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I learned as a child, I thought as a child. So when you become an adult, you have to challenge everything that you was taught as a child.
Absolutely.
And so now you can't use it. My mama, my daddy, you are responsible. And so now when you become 18, and it's like with the legal system, they hold you, what now, I forget, what, 15 they hold you accountable? 15 now you can be charged as an adult?
Yeah.
So if you haven't been taught, and these are some of the things that I've been talking with the young men about, these 13, 14-year-old, they think that they can do anything they want, and they don't understand that you can also be charged as an adult. You can't use a video game. They're trying to say, well, these video games are telling me to kill kids. No, no, no. You have a choice. And that's what life is all about, is a choice. You make the choice to do whatever it is you do. And then you may have 1,000 reasons why you do it, but it comes down to still, you have a choice to do or not to do anything. And that's where you have to get, and that's where responsibility and accountability comes in. And what happens is when you raise up a generation of young men who don't know responsibility and they have no accountability, and you're creating a generation of lost souls who are just, or want to be lost, and you look at the day and time there aren't any jobs. Look how many young men don't go to school. Look how many young men who don't further their education, who don't have basic comprehension. They can't comprehend what they do read. We're living in a society where our young men are dependent on females, or they're dependent on their mother and father. Look how many young men you see riding on the passenger side of a car. Look how many young men don't know how to change a tire. Look how many young men don't know how to work on a car. I mean, you look at these things. You look at uh, how many young men don't know how to cut grass, or who have not been allowed to do those things. So we as parents, we do a lot of things that handle. My son ain't gonna do this, and my daughter ain't gonna do this. But what you become is that you enable them to be dependent on something else, and they're gonna run into the wrong person, and that person is not gonna tolerate that.
Absolutely.
And this is why we have so much disobedience when it comes to these young men going to school. They have no respect for the teachers. They have no respect for authority, because they don't see authority at home. They talk back to their parents, and they think they can talk back to anybody. And they have, I heard uh, a guy, a young kid he was telling his father to get out of his room. And I'm sitting there, I'm laughing, like, his room?
Yeah, really.
I mean, like, man, you crazy? And he went in the room and slammed the door. I said, I done went downstairs and got a hammer and took the hinges off the door. And how you like this? Ain't no doors in there. You don't have no room. And those are the things that we've allowed our young people to think, that it's all about them. This is that they got a room, my computer, my internet, all those things, and it's not really about them. And these are the things that we have to understand, that we are creating the next generation, and they may be smarter, but they're weaker.
Yeah, and kids nowadays, I mean, they don't even want to take responsibility for themselves.
Uh-uh.
For little simple things.
Right.
They expect mom and dad to do everything for them.
Well, and that's because mom and dad does everything for them. And that, we're creating that. And that's, you know, you have to. There was a reason why we had to go through what we had to go through. We learned how to go out and work. We learned how to save money. We learned how to shop for the best price, because you only had X number of dollars.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So now they think that you go, you text me that information. Yeah, so you're able to do those things, and now text me the information. Yeah, everybody just texting, but yet still the text doesn't carry the authority that the parent will say, do this. Before I come home, get the trash done, rake the leaves, clean the yard, clean the front, do what you gotta do, put the trash out, uh, do this, and be home when your mother come home from the grocery shopping. Not only do the mother goes out and get the food, now she has it carried in the house, and the kids are nowhere around. Can't. And we've created a disobedient society, where we allow the internet, we allow social media, we allow our kids to come to the dinner table with their iPads and their phones, and everybody's got their head down and doing these certain things, and it's all to distract you from the head of the household.
Well, you can't say too much to that now because the mother and father is be the first one who have it there.
Exactly, and that's and they have uh, the device has become a slave master to them. Their whole world is absorbed in those things, um, and it's just one of the things that they're putting that information at your disposal, movies, everything, so you don't have to do nothing. Uh, when it snows, I looked outside to try to see when a young kid was coming on with a snow shovel. You can't even find one. It's too cold. They're not going out there and work. You're not going to do anything. So you have all these things that we have to take a look at, and we have to work with, and make sure that, like I said, next year we're talking about programs um, that are in place, and we're not talking about people not doing. Those who are not going to do, they won't do. You have people who can see, have eyes to see, who don't want to see. We have people who have ears to hear, but they don't want to hear. People are going to do exactly what they wanted to do, and it's going to be just like with Noah's Ark. When Noah spent 120 years telling the people to get right, to get ready, but yet still, when they laughed at him building that ark out there, and they talked about him, they even brought wood to him, and they just, brought materials to him and everything, but yet still, they failed to heed the message. So now we find ourselves in another, uh, a similar type of situation. People have talked about end time for so long, so now it's cliche. End time, we're living in end time, but do you really understand what that means? I mean, if you say we're living in end times, you would be like so paranoid that in a twinkling of an eye, God can snatch you up. And are you ready? Like you said, your prayer was that God created us in a clean heart and renew us a right spirit. Because the flesh is wicked, man. Every day, you have to be oiled up and prayed up so that you do God's will and not my will. And a lot of times, because we don't see God, we tend to do our will and we try to make it God's will. And those are the things that we have to. It's going to come to the point, man, where we're going to have to be accountable, and you're going to have to find out what you really believe in. And there's a movie I call "Do You Believe?" and it's very interesting that people can't tell you why they believe in Jesus Christ or Yeshua. They can't tell you why they believe. They've been, well, my mama been, people going to church for 5 generations don't even know why they're there. But do you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ? And you have to know about the resurrection, the cross, the burial, and the resurrection. He's died for us. So all these things that we're going through, we choose to go through them because he's already paid the penalty for it.
Yeah, he paid it, but we're still trying to pay it though.
Exactly. So, so that's where we're at. Even in sickness, uh, God can't heal the sick. You know, and what we do is that we take the advice over. We go to the doctor before we go to God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because we believe that whatever that man or the woman tells us, hey, drink this little concoction right here, and it's gonna cure you. All that's going to do is knock out the symptom, but we don't deal with the cause. And the first thing is that God is the author and finisher of our faith. So we are to go to God with all our medical problems because we're already healed. We just have to, God takes us, sickness takes us through certain things, and God tests us to see how we're going to we're going to deal with that.
Yeah, half the sickness that we have today is the state of the mind.
Exactly. There you go.
You know, because I got news for you. When Jesus died on that cross, when he said it is finished, he meant just that.
Mm-hmm.
It was finished. Everything that he came into this world for was accomplished.
Right.
And it was accomplished then that, hey, we had healing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything, what do you think that God put man on the earth, the last thing he put on earth?
Exactly.
Why do you think that happened?
Because everything else was done.
Absolutely.
And he told us to till, to till the gardens, to go out and dominate, and have dominion over all these things. And that's choice.
Absolutely. And he gave man dominion over everything, right?
Right.
On the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now if God gave man the ruler of the earth, you think God gonna rule the earth?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, but see, what happens is that people don't understand God's because they're dealing with free will. And so God has given us the free will to either do what's right or to do what's wrong. And that's where the choice comes in. Free will is something else. When you can do, I can do what I want to do. I hear young kids say that, but you don't know what the price. And I look at them sometimes and I say, man, if you know what the price you're going to pay for thinking that way right now, that you can do anything that you want to do. The jailhouse is full of people who thought they could do what they wanted to do, or they thought that this person was their friend and my boy and it's my G. All these little terms that we use to describe our friends and our so-called friends. But I know for a fact that when they get two of you in a room and they put one in another room and they tell you the first one that talk is going home, believe me, one of you are going to talk and one of them is going to go home, and the one that sits in there takes the case, takes the charge for everything. So we have to wake up and stop blaming other people for our problems. Men, we have to stop allowing our children to rule the homes. We have to start doing what God has said, for the order. The order is Christ Jesus, man, the father, and the woman, the wife, and then the children. Some household it's reversed. The children tell their parents what to do. You know what I mean? And if you know your son is not working and he's coming in the house with a pocket full of money, $100 bills, you know he didn't get that. But see, we sell that soul and we go get our nails. They go get their nails done. They go take that money and buy this and buy that. But yet still, when your son or daughter gets killed, now you're crying to God, but you let them participate in that. They should not be able to come in your home with ill-gotten gain. Well, not all that. I mean, there's no, no reason in this world that a kid, 11 years old, should walk in that house with $1,000 in their hand. Mm-hmm. And not knowing where it came from. Not knowing where it came from, because you know how long it takes you to make $1,000 cash. Right. But even when you work a good job making good money, with the taxes that they take out and all those things that they take out, you know that's not, it's impossible. That's right. To do it legally. Right. But see, the parents now, that kid walking there with a laptop. They don't even say where you got it from. No, they don't. Huh? And that's another thing. Well, it all starts in the home, and that's what we have to get back to. We allow the system to come in and to destroy the home, divide the home. Why does the home need a TV in every bedroom? Why does everybody in the house have to have a separate cell phone? You see, from where we come and where we're going, we come from the village. Now everybody creates. Now they have their own global village outside that you can't see. you know, they're on Facebook and all these types of multimedia places, and they have likes and they have all these people. I got followers, you know, but then you're taking information from people that you don't even really know, and they don't have you at face value. They don't have you at your mindset, you know. So you know, it's just we've gone out and we've gone astray, and it's just one of those things that we have to deal with, and we'll let people know that we are, you know, what's going to happen, and we have to deal with that. So that's it. You know, the clock on the wall is just about all, and once again, we're gonna go and let you know what Deacon Webb.
Okay, well, now let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God, keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
All right, good night, and God bless.
God bless.
If the Lord be willing, we'll see you back here February, the first Sunday in February. Yes, January 1st. Yeah, February. So we'll keep you posted. You can also look for us at the Leander Project. Give me the web address on that.
LeanderProject@gmail.com.
Or you can look at the Nehemiah Retreat Group.blog.spot or Rice Fathers at Comcast.net or Man of the House Radio Show at AOL.com. Drop us a line or anything you want us to talk about or check out. And God bless you.
And check leanderproject.org.
All right. God bless.
And Happy New Year.
You're clear, guys.
All right.